Alright, Shelby Starnes here. I was asked to give my input on a handful of topics here, so this is my attempt to do so. The first one is what makes a good training partner. Now, for years I trained alone. Used to train in the early mornings, 5 a.m. or so, before I went to work, and that worked fine for me for years. I'm kind of particular in the way that I train, the method that I train. So finding someone else that wanted to train with me, they needed to train the same style, train there at the same time, early in the morning, etc. That was hard to find someone that fit into that mold. So for years I trained alone. Later on, when I got into powerlifting, I trained with a group of guys. Powerlifting is a sport that it's hard to train alone. You'll definitely progress a lot faster training with others, learning other lifting techniques. Plus, you need help with the equipment. If you're using a bench shirt, squat suit, anything like that. So trained with a group of guys when I was powerlifting, and then got back into bodybuilding and trained by myself for a while. Picked up a training partner a couple years ago that I've been training with for a while now, and things have been going well. So what makes a good training partner in my mind? Ideally, they're going to be a similar strength level as you or stronger. That'll push you to progress, or maybe your strong points are their weak points, and vice versa. Their weak points are their strong points are your weak points. So you guys can kind of play off each other with that. You can develop your strengths, and they can develop theirs. As a competitor, I think it's also good to train with another competitor. So you're both, have that competitive mindset. You're both getting ready for competitions, because there's definitely a different mindset from someone that trains for fun and someone that trains for competition. And it's just good to have someone that's competitive in the gym, someone that's aggressive. And of course, you want someone that's on time and accountable. Once you have a training partner, you kind of depend on them to a certain extent to be there. So you need someone that you can rely on. So those are the main things I look for in a training partner. The next question is, if you could train with any 3 lifters from any time period for a 3 to 4 month meet prep, who would they be and why? So for me as a bodybuilder, I don't do meets, I do bodybuilding competitions. The 3 that come to my mind first are John Meadows, Dorian Yates, and Tom Platz. John, I fortunately get to train with pretty frequently, at least a couple times a year. We're not too far from each other, and I can go down to Elite and train with him. Dorian Yates, I'll probably never train with, and Tom Platz I'll probably never train with. But what these 3 guys share is a definite intensity in the gym, a definite aggressive mentality. But they're also smart about their training. Everything has a reason behind it, a why, and I respect that. So I like the aggressive nature. I think training with them pushes me to give my all, but it's not haphazard. It's purpose driven. And all these guys are intense and aggressive, but they're also humble. They're not, egomaniacal jackasses, which some guys can tend to be. So those would be my top 3 picks. Weight gain strategies. I'm never into just blind weight gain. You know, I'm a bodybuilder, so cosmetics are part of the equation with us. Fat doesn't really serve a purpose. Even for a power lifter, gaining fat isn't really the smartest thing to do. Yes, it helps you gain size, circumference, and that can help your lifts, but having more muscle is always better than having, you know, being a tub of fat, especially with weight classes. You know, a guy in the 242-pound weight class, for example, someone that is leaner at 242, generally speaking, is going to be a stronger lifter, a better lifter than someone that's not as lean that weighs the same amount, 242 pounds. So weight gain should always be muscle gain, primarily. That should be the focus. The basics of my weight gain recommendations: you need to get all your macronutrients in. You need protein, you need carbs, and you need a good amount of fat as well. The exact amounts will vary from individual to individual based on metabolism, workload, gender, a number of factors. But you need to have a healthy amount of all those. Biggest jump in weight I have made in a particular time period. I've put on 50 pounds in a few months before, but it's not something that I would recommend. It was after a competition, directly after a competition. It's pretty easy to get a pretty big rebound in weight gain right after a show. But you need to be careful with that. Your blood pressure can skyrocket. You can have all kinds of health problems. It's better to take it slow and steady. Favorite high-calorie items to top off a day's calorie levels. Again, you're just looking at, you know, good, high-quality whole foods. There's not really any room for junk food in a serious athlete's arsenal. It's an easy way to get quick calories in, but it's not a long-term strategy for effectiveness. Things I like to focus on are protein shakes, nuts and nut butters, almond butter, all natural peanut butter, whole eggs, grass-fed beef, salmon, oils like olive oil, macadamia nut oil, grapeseed, coconut, and then carb sources like oats, sweet potatoes, Ezekiel bread, brown rice, white rice. So just whole foods, high-quality foods. Protein shakes are fine too, but large quantities of them, and you just have to be consistent. Weight gain, if it's good weight gain, it's going to take a lot of time and consistency. What does live, learn, and pass on mean to you? If you want to progress at the fastest rate possible, you can't be wasting your time reinventing the wheel. Fortunately, there are tons of willing, fully helpful people nowadays that can help you attain your goals in pretty much any endeavor. And with the internet and email communication, they're pretty much at your fingertips. You know, in bodybuilding, there's bodybuilding coaches that you can hire. In powerlifting, there are powerlifting coaches that you can hire. In business development, there are business coaches that you can hire. Just make sure you're getting the right info. With social media nowadays, there's a widespread dissemination of misinformation. Anyone can proclaim themselves an expert nowadays, so make sure you're listening to the right people, people with years of experience, not just someone that competed in their first bodybuilding show last year, placed 4th out of 4 people, and suddenly thinks they are a contest guru. So make sure you're listening to someone that can back up their credentials. I've had a number of mentors over the years that have helped me in all aspects of bodybuilding and business development, from training to nutrition to supplementation. um, and the